So much wool. It's never enough. It's not really anything else I could do here other than sit and wait for iron and do the wool thing. Alright, let's go for... Aw, I was hoping I could guess. See your cat. It's still far, I think, was it? No, I think I played far, didn't I? And there's still cat, mall, and stall. Let's go for... Let's go for stall, then cat, and then mall. I think that's the idea. I think I heard far. I don't know. If I didn't, then I'm skipping it. Whatever. I'm not going to go through these all like it's a super important task. I'm just going to play them if I remember to play them. It's a classic blues. See, that's a good one for the background because it's not too intrusive. Oh god. That's not happening anytime soon. Oh, that reminds me actually. I didn't make an awful lot, did I? I don't know, I could make one right now, but I really don't know. It seems like a waste of iron. Because I don't think it's that amazing. I mean, I could make it a little bit faster, but it would just be about the same as these. So, I don't know. Maybe later when I've got excess, but right now, not so much. I could break down the cursor. I mean, I don't plan to use it anytime soon, do I? I don't know if it'll break down 1-to-1, though. I don't think so. Maybe, well, I really don't need it, so... There's die, because it's 2-1. Hey, look at that. Wool. I was able to retrieve 7 wool from that. Success. So that one's not a bad one. Need to break down more important things. Alright. So what else we got here? We got cat and then mall. I remember playing this the first time back when I started Minecraft. It's such a long time ago. It's surprising how much time affects your perception of the things you do. Like I remember playing Minecraft back then and having a completely different feel for playing it altogether. Like, I had to play safe against monsters and stuff, so I had to build a shelter out of dirt. Not the most effective shelter, but a good one. And, you know, I was hiding from monsters more often then because I didn't know quite how I'd deal with them. They were a lot more risky back then. And it's not really that the graphics changed so much, or that I got a new texture pack per se. It's just something about the game kind of changes once you know enough of it. It's kind of unfortunate, because, you know, I kind of miss what it felt like back then. Because, I mean, I appreciated building that simple house more than I do now. And oh, I keep forgetting that it does that sometimes. And it was a lot more difficult feeling back then. These days, I just charge into creepers and kill them because they're not a threat to me. And I can go straight up to iron, so I mean, because, like, you know, on day one, you could just dig straight into a cave with stone, and boom, iron. You're done. That's pretty much game over at that point, you know, because you could do just about anything. And all you need is diamond to go to the next tier, but the nether was never really all that interesting. Like, it was okay, but it was never exciting to go to the nether. I mean, there was some risk involved. I remember going to the nether and building things like a cobblestone fortress of sorts, which was basically just a box. I mean, I was never one for the most... I'm a practical kind of guy, usually. So I didn't really make it look all that great. But I knew that they couldn't destroy cobblestone, so I was just like, okay, that's the best structure to build. So I did it. That's really about it, you know. It was never really that threatening. I never got into the whole fight with the bosses, though, either. Like, I didn't care to fight the Ender Dragon. I still haven't done it legit. Still haven't fought the Ender Dragon legit. And I don't know if I really want to. And I haven't fought the Wither. Well, not so much legit. I fought him in mods. For some reason, the Wither is just loved by all who mod. For some reason. Just like deep down. A lot of... There's not an awful lot, but there's quite a few that actually just have you summon the Wither at random for some reason. And, you know, I've never really felt a good reasoning to summon him in a normal game. Mostly because I don't want to die. Because it's awful risky to summon the Wither. But I know I haven't really fought any of the super high level bosses and stuff, you know? But I just don't really see a point in doing so. I mean, it's a long way to get to the Ender Dragon. As well as, I think one of the reasons why I didn't fight the Ender Dragon originally as well was just the fact that getting to the end is such a hassle. Like, you have to... I break these down. You have to get an Ender Pearl and some blaze rods and turn them into blaze powder, so you can make an Ender Eye, which has a chance of breaking upon use, so you need a few of those. and then you have to throw it into the air and follow it slowly through the map until you get to the location where you need to go. And I'm usually a turtle kind of player. Like, my strategy is always kind of just to build a massive fortress that's impenetrable. Like, that's just my style. So I don't really like to move beyond my base. It's not something I'd like to do. Also, I would end up lost if I'm not careful, because I'm not very good with my memory, and direction isn't my best either. So I don't like toying around with that, because I'll never find my way back. Although I've got maps in most of these mod packs these days, so it's not so bad. I'd like to explore a bit more with those. The old school maps I've never had a use for either. I don't think many people do. I mean, does anyone really know anyone that has that just goes out and is building like Minecraft maps with like the default map maker and just kind of throwing them into item frames in their base because they really care to do it? I mean, there's uses to it because you can put up an item frame, put it onto it, and it gets rid of the border, so you can actually build a wall map. Not that it's terribly amazing, but you can do it. But I mean, I've never had a use for... I've never felt like doing that. I don't know if many people do. Because there's so many different ways to play Minecraft, you know? Some people like to do it for different reasons. Like, I remember Yogscast had someone in their team that was working on... I don't remember who it was. I don't know. Somebody who was working on a Minecraft map, and they said that it was a default Minecraft. It was updated each time there was an update, and that's about it. There's no mods, no nothing, no cheating. And for years, they just built this place. They'd build buildings, and they'd dig them out by hand and stuff like that. And it just sounds like a crazy idea. There's a lot of commitment to that. I like the idea of building up a town and stuff, which is why my Feed the Beast Ultimate when I was showing off my castle, my little tower or whatnot, I really enjoyed it because my section was designed like a map. It was as if it was a community of sorts. That's what I kind of wanted it to look like. Like, there was more inhabitants to it and more purpose to my area. But unfortunately for me, no one else on the server wanted to play like that, so they just built their brick house, as you would expect, just a block out in the field. And, you know, they just don't put enough care into it and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a letdown to try to play with other people usually, because they build half their stuff and then they just stop. That's just the normal way of Minecraft. I mean, unless it's a server you really love. Like, one of the reasons why FTB Ultimate went so well was because, you know, it was me and Aiden, we were just kind of changing the map as we went. We used to have a big tree, but it burned down. I don't remember if it burned down quite a lot, or if we finally just decided to burn it down ourselves. But I remember that White House. The White House was really well designed. I wanted to make more of a community to it, but it's just not worth it awful lot of the time because the villagers aren't that great. And the way that you work with the villagers, it's so kind of flat, unless you really feel like putting time into it to build a fancy city and stuff that they'll live in and not respect in the slightest. You know? Because most of the time, like I said, I tend to try to go for the more efficient route, so I just build a box with boxes in it, and that's the best town I have. That's just my style, though, for it. Never have much use for more than that. Myself, at least. But I do like seeing those kinds of structures and stuff, and there are people out there who like to spend their time actually working some sort of art into the field. But I should probably try to get into the idea of building a small kind of map, just just kind of by hand and stuff like that. You know, it's a good thing to do. It's a good, like, relaxing thing to do. Because as simple as Minecraft is, its best ability is its ability to just be something you can do as a hobby, you know? It's like a kind of zen thing to do. You just go in, you hammer on whatever you're hammering on, and that's your day. It's not bad, but Alright, so let's check out Mall. I think this is the last CD, right? Yep, that's all of them. Some string. Make more boots, because that's the solution. It's probably been some time, actually. I was talking with Avon, right? Because he's just got out of his main kind of training system and stuff, so he's more available to do whatever. But only just more available. He's still got to move into his house and stuff, and it's a bit slower than he thought it would be. Which, you know, it happens. But I can't wait to have him back, because I do miss having him around on these kinds of things. As nice as it is to play Minecraft, if I'm playing it on my own, I wouldn't actually spend my time talking. I mean, maybe I'd throw some ideas around, like, I think I might have mentioned this before, but generally when I play Minecraft, I play quiet and just kind of sit here and just hammer away. But, it can be kind of difficult to keep up a good conversation, because it's a little bit one-sided when you record. You know, like, I'm talking to everyone that's watching the video, but I don't know what that means exactly. And it's not like I'm going to get a response. For multiple reasons. I mean, one, you can't respond to me immediately, and two, there's just not enough people to respond just yet. So I'm not going to hear anything for a long time. So I mean, like, in all truthfulness, this series is going to end, and then the next series will end, and then the next one might end, and then maybe I'd actually start getting some back forth with people. I mean, I've gotten a few comments these days, but, you know, like I said, there's so little that we have to work with right now. It's just not enough people to throw into the hat, you know? I mean, something interesting to note is actually we, as of right now, when I'm recording this, we have 50 subscribers right now, which is nice. Like, I wasn't sure if I'd make it this far or not. And it's great that I did. But I'm keeping my eyes peeled for 100 subscribers, because what that means is it's kind of like the first milestone, you know? Like, that's the first long step that we'll have taken, and I look forward to seeing that. But that's not going to be for a little while. And then after that, you know, like my idea is to probably keep in mind the important kind of markers, like the first one's 100, then 200, then 300, and so on till you reach 1,000. And then from there, you kind of have to stretch it out a bit more because the numbers get more complicated. A tree grew and messed up everything. Get rid of these for now because I don't really need them growing right now. So you gotta spread out the subscriber counts at those points, because if you're like all cheerful and stuff every time you see 100 people on the subscribers list, by the time if you got really popular and reached 1 million, you'd have cheered like a cajillion times along the way. And it's just like, it becomes kind of meaningless after a while. So you have to make it exponential kind of drop off. Alright, that's all for the CDs for now. Maybe sometime I'll throw in another stall or Strad. Because those ones are pretty good ones, I think, for like just kind of background noise. But I don't care to really have them around. You know, it's an interesting thing, too. Like, making these videos is interesting. I make them, I put them up. I don't really expect to see much views. Because, once again, like I said, there's not an awful lot of people that are subscribed, and there's not an awful lot of them who are active within those subscriptions as well. But, it's nice to see people are watching them. But then you get things like Modular Crusher Online. That episode, for some reason, I don't know what it is. What is that noise? I think it's the projector. I think it's buzzing. What's interesting is that Modular Crusher Online, I don't know if that video has anything super amazing in it. I don't think it did. But somehow, as of right now, it's gotten like 100 views or something. And I'm just like, thinking to myself, what the hell happened? You know, why has it gotten so many views? What did I do right on that episode? I have no idea. I wonder if it's just the naming scheme. Maybe people like the name. I've noticed some other interesting things, like first episodes usually get some good reviews, just because it's the first episode. People who actually are trying to get into new series look at those and kind of try to get a taste for what the series might be like. But when it comes to things like... thought I heard a spider for a minute. When it comes to things like... it's interesting because like episode 1 gets a lot of views, and then episode like 11 gets quite a few views as well, usually, because I think it's got 1s in it, and that's the reason why. But it's like, who's coming in? It's just like, you know what, I want to watch episode 11. You just jump in and you're like, yeah, you can watch these other episodes, but I think first I'm going to watch episode 11. I mean, let's be honest, that's the natural choice. I'm not so sure about that. But I mean, like, the view rates are they're all over the place sometimes. I never understand them. It's hard to come up with a good naming scheme. I kind of miss having the old scheme, which was like the first 20 episodes or so, probably. Like, the actual setup was to just make the video and call it episode 1, 2, 3. Simple, you know. I didn't really want to name them originally, because 1, it's hard to come up with names, and 2, eventually there's going to be a duplicate, like Auto Hammer. There's another Auto Hammer in Agrarian Skies, but it's a different Auto Hammer, so I kind of have to leave that one there. But, I don't know, I've never been a fan of the naming scheme thing, because, you know, I review my videos no matter what, just to make sure they're working. And sometimes they're a little bit odd, but there's not really much I can do, because sometimes it's the renderer is messed up the video a little bit, or sometimes it's YouTube messing up the video a little bit. There's always something. It's never perfect, and it annoys me, but meh. But, yeah, I don't really like having to watch through the video just to set it up and tell it to go. Because, I mean, I can fix the video whenever. But, you know, sometimes I'm busy that day or something, and I don't really want to, you know, go over 2 hours of video and come up with a name for them. Because sometimes it's a slow day, you know. Sometimes there's a slow episode where you're farming just pumpkins. Or something like that, you know, because you have to do it. You know, like the first episodes of series are usually the worst things to name because it's just like building a house or mining dirt. And it's like you can't name your videos that because no one's gonna want to watch that title. And 2, because once you have like 3 or 4 series, you're gonna have 3 or 4 mining cobblestones and stuff, and people are gonna get confused or are gonna be disappointed in your naming scheme. So it's a bit of an odd thing, the whole naming system. I mean, it's not really necessary to name them, because you should be following which number you're on, but it is easier to remember a name than it is to remember a number, I must admit. But I don't know if that's a good enough reason. I don't know. It's an okay naming scheme, though. It's a good idea to put names on it. It's definitely the right way to go. I'm just not terribly huge on it. I used up a lot of redstone making these things. Better keep me darn cool. I'm like wearing a massive sock. It's a little bit crap. Oh well. I just need one more piece and then I'm all set up to go to the next stage, which is a tier 2 rocket. And that's probably not going to be the easiest. There's a lot of middle pieces. I don't really remember the rocket too well. I think I don't know what the requirements for a tier 3 one are exactly, but I think basically what I have to do is put an engine here, and 2 fins here, maybe 2 fins here, I'm not 100% sure, and then there should be a booster piece for the rockets, and that would go on the top or bottom point here. And then I think this is supposed to be all compressed iron? I don't know. Probably heavy duty plate. I don't know. Let's see if there's a book for it. Galactic. I always hate it when they don't really explain themselves too well. And these schematics don't show themselves off. They could have shown you like what you're supposed to put in it. Also, I don't know what these things are for. Is this for more storage space, I think? I don't quite know. Let me look it up real quick. Just throw it into the internet. Tier 2 rocket Minecraft. Sure. I was gonna type in it. Pulled up Galactic Craft, and I would have clicked on it, but eh. Yeah, it's the 3-colored piece, and the boosters go on top. Okay. Figures as much. It's like so the boosters will go here, and then it's a bunch of compressed heavy-duty plates. And probably tier 2, just because they want to mess with me. Oh, look, meteoritic ion. It's actually got a use. It's a miracle. Compressed bronze. Where the hell am I going to get bronze? Oh, that's cheap. That is cheap. That's mean. That's so much to do. So much to do with that. I just don't know if I have the resources to do this. It's always down to this. I don't know what it is. Like, I come into here thinking, I've got plenty of resources, I should be good to go. Or I've got a fair enough resources amount to do stuff. And then actually start doing stuff and realize I'm completely out of my element. I don't have enough resources for anything. It's really quite problematic. I suppose I will just try to throw together as much as I can.